You're a man or a lady person. You wake up in your multifunctional IKEA bed. In you go to the bathroom. You bathe in pH balanced soap. Then you slap on your black turtleneck and Levi's 501s. You head downstairs and pick up the morning paper. Why, it's a Margaret Thatcher headline, and you mumble in your Beth Spaniel head cut. A person like you is not some asinine right-wing dweeb or a lefty loony. You're a sensible human being who thinks Nordic economics is better than sex. The point is, you're a cool person, you're a Saab driver, which is why it's a shame to know that your cool, quirky Swedish car is no more. In 1937, Saab was formed by, at the time, Swedish arms maker A.B. Bofors. Well, this came after a growing need by the Swedish government for more weapons, as a world war was brewing. They initially developed and manufactured military aircraft. At the end of the Second World War, Saab decided to build cars. There was a problem. None of the engineers overseeing the project had any idea how to design cars. To make matters worse, only 2 of the 16 engineers involved knew how to drive. The culminating result was the Saab, your Saab. It doesn't look too bad, does it? Yeah, notice how I'm only showing its side profile. This wretched eyesore had a gutless 18 horsepower front-wheel drive and a profound focus on aerodynamics. Yeah, because plain engineers. The production version was the Saab 9.2. Yeah, it was certainly an improvement over that rubbish prototype. From its 0.8 liter 2-stroke engine, it produced a whopping 25 horsepower.
Wow! 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 Wow, indeed.
Since it was designed by a bunch of aerospace boffins, the 9.2 ended up having a really low drag coefficient. So that, coupled with a hapless underpowered engine, must have made for a really fuel-efficient car. Very useful in a resource-scarce post-war Europe. Well, fun fact. For the first 3 years of the 9.2's production run, every one made was painted green because Saab had a lot of paint left over from the war. This is amazing use if you like green paint. Not so good if you like titanium silver BMW 320Ds. The 9.2 was Sweden's answer to the Volkswagen Beetle and Opel Kadett. The sales were pretty abysmal. And things were also bad if you actually owned one. The 9.2's engine lacked an oil pump. This means that if you went downhill, the engine would be starved of oil and would seize up. To avoid this, you'd have to brake and accelerate at the same time. Furthermore, it didn't have a water pump, so if you sat in traffic, your engine would just... Yeah, what's a rubbish car that was. Then, 1955, the Saab Skunk Works went back to the drawing board and produced this, the 9.3. It had some improvements over the 9.2. Gone was the pumpless thermosiphon engine, and in came a water pump and thermostat. This meant that your 9.3 didn't turn into an American military campaign in the Middle East. In addition, the engine gained an extra cylinder and produced a tremendous 33 bhp. A better car, I must say. Not quite. The engine still lacked an oil pump, so it shat itself going downhill. Dare I say, the design was a step in the right direction. Still ugly though. Let me just gloss over the 9.6 as it was just a further revision of the then ancient 9.2 platform. 1969. That year, some rocket went to the moon or whatever. Not like that's important. And Saab released this handsome thing. Just before that, they merged with Scania for Vibesies. Like its ancestors, the 99 featured a steel monocoque chassis. However, this Gudmund platform had considerably more torsional rigidity, so much so that when it went rallying, it didn't need any roll cages, as the crush structure was bloody strong. Furthermore, it was the first car to feature side impact beams. This car could genuinely fight Chuck Norris and win. It was that indestructible. Okay, not quite. Chuck Norris would win, of course. Originally, the 99 featured a longitudinally mounted and slanted straight bore from a Triumph Dolomite. It was mounted backwards, by the way. In the Triumphs, the slant 4 was horrid. Head gaskets would blow like a tuned Subaru. The timing chains would stretch, and since the slant 4 was an interference engine, it would. However, the egg-headed Saab extensively re-engineered the engine and actually made it reliable. As for power, the Triumph 99s had more oomph. So, depending on engine size, power ranged from 87 horsepower to 220 brake horsepower if you count the rally engines. Then in the 70s, a new gimmick came around in the motoring industry. Before that, the West decided to give Israel some weapons. The Arabs weren't happy.
I'll come out my house and I'll break your fucking legs, you little prick!
The result was the 73 oil crisis. Yeah, so car makers had to make more fuel-efficient cars because there wasn't any fuel. Yeah. Elite ball knowledge, if you get that. However, this was the 70s, and engineering back then was very primitive. So, small engine cars weren't rockets like those twin-air Fiats, so they were pretty slow. Turbos were the solution, as they made big power in small engine. How a turbo works is that it relies on the engine's exhaust gases to spool up turbines. That in turn forces more air into the cylinder combustion chamber. Well, this creates a bigger explosion and therefore big power. Alright, I've digressed more than Margaret Thatcher's son in the Dakar.
You don't know where we are, do you?
Yes, I do. I know exactly. It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Remember the merger with Scania? Turns out that trucks use turbos, and Saab needed turbos. So Scania boffins used their knowledge of turbo make big power and applied it to the 99. With a big Garrett snail, it produced an extra 40-odd bhp and 174 pound-foot of torque. This might sound underpowered, but this was when every car had 5 horsepower and was as athletic as James May. So this Saab could haul ass. The Saab 99 was so amazing that it amassed a sales volume of over 500,000 units over its lifespan. This was leaps over that god-awful 92 with its paltry 20,000 odd units.
Great success.
The 900. 1978, it was released around the same time as the 99 Turbo. It was sort of a replacement, albeit one for the future. Originally, it was sold as a more premium alternative to the 99 as it featured more luxuries like a longer wheelbase, supple leather upholstery, and air conditioning. But by 1984, the old 99 was starting to feel its age and the 900 took its place. The 900 was Saab's most popular car, and for good reason. Safety by this point was Saab's bread and butter, and it was further improved in the 900, yeah. For instance, it had an extended front end for better crash protection. It got stiffer A-pillars for better roll protection. They added the retractable steering wheel so you don't smash your head in. There's a cushy impact-absorbing material below the dash to protect your knees. There's also a redundant braking system. By redundant, I don't mean you don't need brakes. You'd fucking crash if you didn't have any. It's redundant because it uses diagonally split hydraulic circuits, whatever that means. How it works is the front left brake and the rear right brake are linked in one circuit, and vice versa for the other circuit. This means if one circuit fails, you'll still be able to maintain steering and braking control, and not end up like Pasta Maldonado. There are many other safety innovations and features in the 900, but I'm not going to list all of them as this video will become this BS. Go watch though. The 900 could fight Chuck Norris and a coughing baby and win. Okay, I'm lying about the Chuck part again. The 900 would only be able to defeat the baby. Sidetracked. The 900 blitzed the 99 sales numbers by raking in nearly 1 million vehicle sales over its life cycle, thus making it the most successful Saab ever made. Life in the 80s was good. The 900 was as popular as Michael Jackson. Okay, I'm lying. The Soviets. Reagan's trickle-down economics did things. Margaret Thatcher existed, unfortunately.
Just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a shithole! Do you know what I mean? Birmingham is a fucking shithole! I hate the fucking place! I fucking hate it! It's full of dickheads! I fucking...
Oh, I forgot. General Motors bought 50% of Saab.
No! Wait!
No!
You know what happens. Let's talk about General Saab, the Vauxhall Opel Vectra. Its designers probably look like this. They look like stock images, for f***'s sake. The penny-pinching, nitwitted management at GM had an idea for a new car. They said, here's a Vectra. Sell the exact same car. The Saab engineers nodded. They re-engineered 70% of the Vectra. So they took that thing-looking thing and then they made this. The 900 NG. New generation full. At this point, you'd expect me to say the 900 was better than the Vectra. It wasn't. The Vectra was safer. The 95 to 2001 Vectra had a 3-star safety rating. The Saab was rubbish and got a 1.5-star safety rating. This is because it's based off of the older and weaker 94 Cavalier platform. GM also forced Saab to substitute the old 900's more sophisticated double wishbone suspension for inferior McPherson struts. The Saab Skunk Works made do with a compromise and tuned the suspension to sharpen handling. As for engines, the NG retained the old Saab H engines and got a new Opel V6. For the turbo variants, Saab decided a clutch is stupid. And hey, they made this, the Sensonic gearbox. How it works is that in order to change gear, a tiny robot man will engage and disengage the clutch pedal. Interesting concept, it's just... Eventually, the NG got a facelift and was christened as the 93. It remedied most of its predecessors' issues, like receiving a 4-star Euro NCAP rating, and it came at great cost to GM. Even though Saab was in the grips of the glue-sniffing, booger-eating General Motors management, they continued to make really good cars, and their best ever sales year was in 2006. This is nice. Nothing can go wrong. Right? Right? 2008. So many people with subprime mortgages defaulted, and a bunch of Gordon Geckos demonstrated an inability to count from 1 to 10. Lo and behold, the housing and financial markets around the world capitulated. This hit the big three like Hiroshima. GM, in turn, was left in dire financial straits. This meant that many of its subsidiaries were at risk of getting sent to pasture. One of the brands at most risk was Saab. Reason? For years, Saab struggled to sell in large numbers because their cars were simply too expensive, and they were too related to other GM cars to justify their high prices. Which is ironic because GM accountants absolutely loathe Saab because they spent too much money turning Vauxhalls into good cars. Eventually, the Swedish car manufacturer ended up facing bankruptcy, and GM was too broke to do anything about it. So,
Detroit.
decided to put it up for sale. Talks with Koenigsegg and other potential buyers commenced, but they fell through. So in 2009, it looked like GM was about to pull the plug for good.
Great news. What?
Spiker bought Saab. Unfortunately, the weight of debt was too much for Spiker to bear, and they filed for bankruptcy in 2014.
Great news. What?
Nevs bought Saab. Scania revoked the rights to use the Griffin logo. Then Saab, the plane company, revoked the rights to use the Saab name. As for the Nevs company, it's been in purgatory. And that's that. Saab is over. Oh, I just forgot. Saab could sell you a Griffin fighter for a cool 70 million.